So when I sit down to make a course, I need to really, the first thing I do is what to include and what not to include. In other words, define the process, okay? So that's the first step in Lean Six Sigma, is actually defining the steps. When Motorola actually introduced this, they did not really include the define, but rather use the fourth step, which is measure, analyze, improve, and control. The define step was later on added by General Electric because they experienced some basic problems within their methodology or processes. So in this first step, the Six Sigma really defines what the project is and exactly what needs to be accomplished, and that's the define step. So not only just to the production problems, but other areas as well. So Motorola was focusing on different projects where they were focusing on specific areas. And GE also applied Six Sigma to services because they wanted some more processes being improved. And that's really what made these projects go off course before GE introduced this. So the key tool within defining steps is process mapping. So the team can understand what this project entails, and equally important, what is not going to be included within the project. As the project progresses, now you become in-depth or more details. So really defining is just establishing the boundaries. You also want to define what to expect, what you want to accomplish, and then the metrics that you want to use, milestones. So let's say if you are successful, how would you know? You exactly need to know the milestones, whether you're achieving those or not, whether you're reducing the defects or not within the manufacturing process or other processes. Most people would agree that Six Sigma must also include a financial aspect, because success is really measured by financial success, right? So if you define this within the earlier on stages of your project, that's really would have an impact on the cost reductions as well. So once you've done this, I would also recommend that you really get the finance department to sign off on these processes. In other words, finance is key, by the way, in the organization. And we all know, right? They give us our paychecks. So if finance has approved your formulas in advance, your assumptions in advance, it's easier, by the way, to work along with the project. So this financial aspect of measuring is really important in the success of this particular project. But really, we need to go beyond this project and also define the problem. So you want to do it at a high level at this point in time, because the project usually focuses on really something, such as a particular problem or defect or an inefficiency. So the idea is to really go in depth of that particular process and understand the process variability. And that's the problem that your project will actually cater to. So in defining your project and problem, you always want to keep the customer in mind, by the way, because ultimately it's the goal of delivering a quality product to the customer. So from the customer's perspective is what you need to actually think of. Be empathetic. Talk to the customer. Ask them questions. All of their processes should come first. And if there's an improvement that's not important to the customer, well, maybe that's something that you don't want to do at this point in time. So in a sense, in a defined step, you're actually just laying out the issue, laying out the problem, setting the boundaries. And that's really what General Electric made a valuable enhancement to this process. So I just wanted to cover the concept of the first step, which is defining step within the Six Sigma methodology. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, post them in the discussion area. I'll be happy to answer. So with this, let's move to our next lesson.